Good afternoon, everyone. This is Colin Damude, and I'll be the host today of the next in our series of expert webinars. We are going to give everyone about 1 minute to join the platform. I know a number of people are still coming on, so if you would just to practice the attendee chat, which is where you can enter questions and also get links if we put them out. Let us know where you're from and get a little conversation started, and then we'll get started in just about 1 minute. All right, I see a familiar name, Jennifer, living in Nairobi, but originally from West Virginia, I believe. Is that what you said? Yep. Welcome back, Jennifer. So let's go ahead and get started. Just to let everyone know, this is being recorded, and we will have a PDF of the slides as well as the recording available after the webinar. Since you registered, you will get an email with that recording. If for some reason you don't get that email, check your junk folder, but you can also go to mLevel.com. Under resources, there's a webinar tab, and all of our archives are there. So if you like this one or you want to review previous webinars, you can get the slides as well as full recordings under that tab on the mLevel website. So I'm thrilled to host this month's webinar for the reason that in the past we've had some exceptional experts in learning and development theory and training theory. Carl Kopp, who's an author on gamification and professor, as well as Bob Mosher with Applied Synergies. Some true experts in learning and design theory, but today it's something quite unique. This is actually a world-class initiative that is in action. It was launched, and it encompasses the brains of quite a few different technologies brought together in a similar platform to achieve a spectacular outcome. And I contacted Lamont Exeter at TTEC, who was the mastermind behind this initiative, and I said we have to share it. And so let's have a webinar and show people what's possible when you utilize the as well as thinking about what type of outcome you can truly have. And I don't want to give up too much of Lamont's thunder, because he has 3 specific objectives that he wanted to achieve with this initiative, and he's also got a methodology that he wanted and a framework that everything had to work within. And I'm going to let him describe all of those. So we're going to pull back the curtain today and show you exactly what this world-class training initiative looked like, and I'll let Lamont set it up for you. But we've also got another technology partner, and that's Allego, and I'll introduce Jake Miller, who is the product marketing manager at Allego. He's responsible for architecting growth and telling the story of Allego customers and products. He's passionate about sales and performance, and interestingly enough, he was also a professional jazz drummer and played at Carnegie Hall. So you don't hear that every day. But first up, I want to introduce Lamont Exeter. He is in charge of modernizing, operationalizing emerging technologies at TTEC. He's been working with them since 1997, and his team has won an array of industry awards, and he's had speaking engagements at leading learning and knowledge organizations. And Lamont is a firm believer in today's learner, that today's learner is tomorrow's leader. And you're going to see some of his inspiration and what he believes and his passion come out in the product that he's going to display today. But as the head of innovation, product development, and solutions within the TTEC team, Lamont has had the opportunity to research, work with, modernize, and operationalize some. Introduce you to Lamont Exeter. He's that handsome guy right on the left-hand side of your screen. So Lamont, thank you so much for putting this initiative together and being a huge participant in our expert series today.
Well, thanks for having me. And really appreciate being here.
Lamont, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing the audio just chiming out. Can you hear me better now?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right, awesome. So, and I know along with myself and Colin, thanks for having us over and for being a part of the development of this pretty impressive solution that we'll be going over between the work with you and the mLevel team along with the Allego team. Not only were we able to drive the business results that equate to a few $1 million in savings for our organization with a 2.3x ROI, but then also with the partnership with Allego, bring it all together and make it captivating. And the feedback, it's always nice when you can get all the business results you desire while making the end user super happy and engaged. And the feedback from the employees going through this has just been absolutely incredible. So happy to partner with you to show how we came together to be one and go through that experience with this audience.
Yeah. So Lamont, can you give us a little framework about how you really started with you had a partner initiative and wanted to bring together a number of technologies, and those integrated technologies, what you're going to be seeing today, are on the screen today. But can you give us a little history and how you even set out to get to this point?
Perfect. Early, it was either January, February of this year, we got together, and we have a lot of different partners that we work with, but the partners don't know each other, and they did not know each other. And this is something that we run into with our clients when we work with them. And I reached out to whether it was Jordan or Tim, and we talked out to these different partners, and we all met up in New York, spent 2 days together just talking about what is possible. And it was funny because there was so much hesitation and trepidation from it's like, well, I don't want to show what's in my sandbox and all my toys. And in some cases, it could have been potentially competing technologies coming together. It was awesome, though. And we love the fact that our tech partners put away their egos, put away their concerns, and came together for us being their partner. And over those 2 days, we built out what awesome could look like and would look like and will look like and now does look like in an environment that's flexible and scalable for the employee headcount, because we have, 55,000 employees within an organization, being able to suit that type of business need. And then you all brought your individual pieces to the puzzle. We had different integration points. We talked about what some folks are doing and could do, what other people are doing. And one of my favorite parts of that whole experience from the Partner Summit is we left and we went away, and we know that you work with some other partners independent of us and did some pretty cool things. So we were able to bring it together and make it work for us and for our audience and our employees. But then also the partners were able to interact and say, wow, we didn't even know that this was available in the market. And you formed your own relationships and partnership that's ultimately going to help us because of your product development coming together. And that's really where we started off with this. So,
yeah. Okay. Great. No, thank you for that. Thank you for that history. And we're actually going to show you the goods right up front, and then show you how it happened. And after we tell you what the results are. So you don't have to wait till the end of the webinar to hear the results. but specifically there were three objectives, Lamont, you had for this program. Can you walk us through those three?
Touch on them. Yeah, so they had to look, it had to look good and be engaging. So when users came to this experience, they had to be like, yeah, we love it, we want to engage no matter what it is. It needed to be backed based off some fundamental science or technology or methodology that made everything work, including personalized coaching. It had to be blended, incorporating different elements, and then financially beneficial. So the fact that we were cutting down the onboarding time of employees into moving into management positions by over 20 hours, and then the fact that we were able to save over $1.3 million our first year in rolling it out, those things were all. It had to look good, it had to make sense, and had to make money. So we got it, and I know that we're going to go straight into it, like right now, and show folks what it's all about.
Yeah. So let's do that. And you talked about these results, but we've got a video that presents an overview. So let's show that right now, and I'll let you talk about it as it's rolling.
All right, awesome. Now, what you're about to see is the overall experience that we were able to roll out.
This is a new way of learning. Gamification, virtual collaboration, interactive micro-content, and responsive assessments. Learners receiving digital badges for completion that are posted on leaderboards to show off to their peers. With our 3D operations environments, our management certifications program is taking training to a whole new level. To begin, the learner chooses which certification they want to take, select any course to start, and are then guided by a virtual host as they are immersed into a virtual world that are modeled after our very own TTEC locations at HQ, Cebu, Dumaguete, Kaane, and Tempe. Our short micro-topics take the learner through virtual classrooms, instructional videos, hands-on guided simulations, branching scenarios, and they're able to record their responses and get video feedback from trainers. And the assessments? Interactive, engaging, and even gamified, where they are encouraged and rewarded by our digitized executive leaders. Going digital in this way is taking our certification time from days to hours. And not only does it provide our employees with a sound training experience, it's on demand 24/7, asynchronous, has lower support ratios, and is pushing us forward in the digital age.
So right there, and thanks for showing that, Colin, right there, if you just take into account the fact that we're saving double-digit number of hours when trainers through their onboarding, or a new supervisor, coach, so on and so forth, or the fact that our leadership programs have been condensed, and we call it like the Netflix model, where you no longer have to come to a classroom and sit through 8 hours a day of onboarding. You can actually go through 16, you can binge and go through 16 hours of onboarding. You're getting feedback real time. You're interacting with coaches and professionals. It helps us, especially if you're going through seasonal spikes and periods. In a retail sense, you're bringing on a large amount of employees at a given time. Those support ratios that used to be excessive for us and just cost us a lot of money, we're able to save on all those. Wrapping those all together, and the video really showed it. It's different. It's not your typical LMS. It's not your typical learning experience. You have personalized journeys. And the whole visual engagement piece, a lot of our employees at entry level live in major cities, so we went with the bus route, and we said, okay, we're going to create something that you can understand, you can experience. I live in Toronto. For you to jump and go downtown Toronto from uptown, you can drive that and take 45 minutes, or you can jump on the subway and get down there, or on the bus route and get down there in 15 or 15 or 20 minutes. So we took into account our user audience. And then we made all the learning really short, engaging, high definition videos, but yet when necessary, they're mobile compliant, so that you can flip over and not kill your bandwidth when you are not on Wi-Fi, and made all those things applicable to our audience. So high five to you and the mLevel team for bringing gamification into a non-gamification experience, bringing gamified learning into a non-gamified learning experience. You really made it possible, and we appreciate you on that partnership there.
Yeah, thank you, Lamont. I think it's interesting that all three technologies encompassed the objectives that you wanted to achieve. They were they're all engaging. I mean, the user interface that you created on top of your LMS, which is what people are seeing, this route that people go through that directs them to their learning environment, which is a kind of a virtual classroom inside a corporate office, is extremely engaging. And then each of the elements, one have to meet your methodically sound process, which we're going to look at here in just a minute. But what I'd like, Lamont, also is maybe to help people with. I think they understand the bigger picture with the three technologies and how we got together. But can you talk a little bit about the actual application and use case? It's management certification, and I don't want to say anything more than that. But maybe can you walk through what TTEC does and why this initiative was important and who's actually going through it?
Absolutely. So one of the things was with our frontline. Within our environment, we have seasonal. We have a set of employees in management development, and then we have seasonal peaks. So for any manager coming in, whether you're going to be within the management realm, a supervisor, a team lead, a coach, any of those items, previously you would sit down and you'd go through you'd have to go to a physical classroom or a virtual classroom, and you'd have to get a trainer assigned. So you may have someone coming in from Atlanta, another person in Boston, another person in Toronto, another person in Denver, all going through training. And you have to work through time zones, trainer availability, and there was a natural workforce management initiative associated with the training of those employees. What we fixed and solved with that is the ability for if Colin in Atlanta wants to come and start on Wednesday the 26th, he can come and you can start your onboarding process now, and you are immersed within the learning environment, and you can go through that, and you don't have to wait until Monday for another class to start. You can binge and go through that. So now we have our frontline employees, whether they're in the contact center, whether they're corporate, wherever they are, learning experience using not only when I say digital content, not only like the digital micro learning content, but where Allego comes into play and our partnership there, they do practice, they do teach backs. So when we talk about the next phase about the sound methodology, yes, we have the eye candy here, but then they're able to practice and take exams within a gamified experience. They're able to have the practical nature of Allego allows them to go through, get coaching, provide social feedback, comment, similar to how you interact on SoundCloud, where if you really like a part of a song, you can tag it, and then other people can comment on it, and people can now, as a new facilitator, I'm coming into play, I can post a feedback, and anybody from around the world can now provide feedback on that teach back. And providing feedback on that teach back is really, really important because that's where you drive so much learning. The 3D business model environment, and the reason why we need to do that, when you go around to any of our offices, and you saw in the video, that was actually our HQ in Denver, people can now feel assimilated, they can feel empowered and like, okay, great, I like that, I know it, it feels a part of me. Another challenge that people had was getting executive leadership buy-in. So what we did is we created animated characters of our leaders, and we put them directly in, and then we went out to Ken, Marty, and now they're a part of the course. So now they've never been so interested in our digital content and in our learning content before, because now they're a part of it. So all those things wrapped up into the responsive assessments, it's on demand, and all the other things I talked about on this page, we wrap that up into one package. You don't need to log into multiple systems. As you said, there's a single learning path that you interact with. In addition to that, we have single sign-on, so it just pulls up all the other pieces. They're all embedded into that one user interface, and we made it as easy as possible for our learners and our users, and that's what's been driving the success. A lot of words there. I hope I answered all your questions in that bundle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what's important is, going back to the first objective of being visually engaging is, I think you took it way beyond visually engaging. It's seamlessly engaging because the learning path breaks down a lot of barriers. Again, there's single sign-on. Everyone knows what's next in their learning path. One thing we haven't touched on, but you're going to see it in the video. It's a part of mLevel, and ultimately part of your entire initiative are going to be the analytics and individual dashboards that show not only completion data, which is the standard in the industry, but at mLevel we feel we need to go way beyond that. We provide analytics for every part of the learning path that they go through in our platform, whether it's an assessment or a game-based activity, or a branching scenario activity, or even a video. There's scoring, there's end of game activity, there's stars, leaderboards, and badging involved to get people, again, takes them way beyond visually engaging. That's what was really exciting for me. So having said that, let me show you the mLevel portion of this initiative, and we've got another video that will come up in just a second here, and I'll let it run. What you're seeing is a gamified activity. Again, the stars on the right side, the points on the left side for additional engagement. And this is coming up in an iframe that's right from a desktop. And this is another activity called Block Party, where you're breaking out light-colored blocks, again, scoring stars to open up question sets to make the learning process more interesting. And it not only you select the right answer, but it coaches you with the correct answer if you answer it incorrectly. This next activity is actually a branching scenario-based activity. So it gives you a scenario, you answer the question, and based on how you answer, it's going to respond with a different type of question set. It could also be a video. If you answer correctly or incorrectly, it's going to prompt you with some coaching. And as you see at the end of this activity, there are stars, there are points, and the leaderboard. The next component of mLevel, that was the user interface, is actually building that platform. It's very simple. These are templated activities that make it very simple for you to repurpose content into mLevel. And that's kind of the power of the platform, if you will. It makes it very, very simple to author and publish and then integrate through deep links. As you see right here, these are deep links to integrate into any other platform. And then last but not least is the Analytics Studio, which gives you a detailed, and this is an individual dashboard, and I'm just going to pause it right there because this is a very powerful element of a training initiative that just is not present in most learning and development today. So this shows one individual, what their mastery of individual activities are, their total answers, where they've engaged, where they have not engaged, which questions they've gotten correct, which questions they have not gotten correct, what they're struggling with, what their knowledge gaps are, and really what's most important is what their mastery looks like over a period of time. So we can actually gauge the success of a program and how it corresponds to your business unit objectives. Let's say you want to reduce first call resolution, or you want to improve sales. Well, how does that correlate to, how do those results correlate based on how someone's mastery of a program is changing within their dashboard? And are going to be more and more of a component of training initiatives moving forward. And that's why I wanted to pause just on that screen. And so that is the mLevel component and how it was integrated into the TTEC solution. So let me jump back to my slides real quick.
Now, while you're jumping back to the slides, one of the things that our leadership team was looking for was how quickly we actually build this pretty quick. So whether it was Vanilla or Palos, Cassandra drove them crazy on our team. Everything that you're seeing was built within 60 days, and yeah, it was under 60 days. And I think that we drove people a little back crazy. And so we appreciate them rolling it out. But then the other part that you just talked about, right now, both you and Allego have your individual reporting. Funny enough, up to yesterday, Jordan was texting me. We're taking all the reporting from the different areas, and which is so rich in what you showed, and we're putting it into a single repository. So it's going to be a data lake that we're going to be able to do business driver-based analytics on. So we're going to look and say, when this person came through the learning and scored this or performed this well at each individual exercise, how does that correlate to the parts of the job and how they're performing at those parts of their job? So if in the coaching exercise you're doing really well, but you're struggling with actual coaching in your operations, then there might be a miss. Are we miscoaching? Are we mistraining people how to coach properly? So not only how did you certify, but going beyond that, how are you performing at the individual functions and tying those over to business behaviors? The fact that your technologies allow us to do that is just absolutely amazing, and that's why we decided to bring you and Allego into this mix.
Yeah, thank you. And Allego, we've also got a video that showcases Allego's portion of this solution. But before we do that, I actually, I've got a little poll I would like everyone to take. It's very short, and I'll show the results. So if you would get ready, and we talked about the three initiatives, the three objectives for this program being more engaging. The training had to be engaging, and Lamont talked about visually, and it goes way beyond just visuals. And then being methodically sound. That you can go to your business unit of leaders and say, hey, look, this is why this makes sense. We're going to get better learning outcomes. And oh, by the way, the third objective, we're also going to save time and money. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So if you could impact just one key area in 2019, which would it be? Would it be more engaging? And I know some of you might want to do multiple. But if you could just impact one, what would be the most important for you? Better outcomes, save time and money, or more engaging training? And I'm guessing that more engaging training would probably be, everybody would like to select that as well. So if you would just register your vote here, and there we got one for more engaging. So Lamont, it looks like we've got a pretty overwhelming, well, not so overwhelming, got a couple more votes there, but more than anything, if people could impact one key area, it would be having better outcomes through methodically sound initiatives. And that you were trying to hit. Oh, and our poll just went away. Hang on a second.
Yeah, and based off that makes sense. And my biggest part is I think the bottom two being like we can make stuff that's sexy, that looks awesome, and that's engaging, and that for us was absolutely critical with our audience, attracting the generations that we're going after, which is the Gen Ys and Gen Zs or Zs. Going after them, what was really important, and then also getting in some organizations, there's a belief that if it's not cool, no one's going to take it. So we definitely wanted to address that. The fact that we have so much practice and practical education within there, and that as a trainer, I can practice training exercises and get feedback from my peers or my leaders prior to actually facilitating it, or as a coach, I can learn how to coach, or I'm presented with unique coaching challenges, dealing with difficult situations within my learning experience. And then before I have to apply that within the real workplace, I can apply it and get feedback within a controlled learning environment. And I can do this virtually. People work different hours. They're comfortable working different hours. We're so comfortable being virtual nowadays. When we're wrapping those together, it makes really good sense, and it's really powerful. But then you take all that, and then you wrap the layer of financial acumen around it, and us being able to come to our leadership and say, this investment is leading to this many million, like you're talking about in year one alone is a 1.3. We generally build stuff on a 3-year model. So you wrap that over 3 years, you're talking about 4 million plus in savings. And then how you grow on this and stuff like that, it's been a big deal for us. And you're talking about an organization that does, again, 50,000 people. We do a lot of hours of training. In order for us to do this with our management team alone, it's just renowned. So,
yeah. Hey, before, yeah, I really think this is the next step in the evolution of training. Whereas again, it's a very traditional discipline, where completion has always been that key metric. Hey, I got you through the class, I checked the box, and the training may be exceptional, but most people are familiar with the 70-20-10 model, which shows that 90% of training actually occurs in a more informal setting outside that formal initiative, and being able to implement something that's engaging, that it's micro learning. It can be utilized anywhere, anytime. It can be binged, as you said, so we can be the Netflix of training. So to incorporate all those things and get significantly better outcomes, because we can train where people are at, and that's on the job as well. So they don't just have to go through this formal program, check the box, they completed, they got an 80%, and now it's up to you, business unit, to make them successful. We can be more partners in this in all our initiatives, which I think is where sales and marketing are probably a little bit more mature. In that sense, they've been at each other's throats for a long time, and somewhat of a contentious relationship. And when they work together, they produce significantly greater outcomes, learning and development, and in collaboration with operations, sales, compliance, etc. So, having said that, I want to reintroduce Allego. And I'm going to bring their video up. Jake Miller, their product marketing manager, is actually going to walk us through their video as the third component of this solution. And so let me pull up the video, and I'll let Jake walk you through it. Jake, you want to set this up while I'm pulling it up?
Sure, Colin, appreciate it. Yeah, everything that you guys have talked about is absolutely true. The engaging piece, the other kind of aspect of engaging is like what Lamont had started to touch on. Basically, with the three solutions, I mean, you've got with mLevel, you've got the gamification piece and real interactive kind of scenarios, and then with Allego, you kind of get that real interaction, almost like a face-to-face interaction, but you're able to do it remotely. And then the whole thing is wrapped up in this environment of the TTEC, this kind of virtual world, which is really fun and drives engagement. So this is the video here, and this is going through the manager scenarios. And when we design the solution, the idea is to make it something that you can take a lot of this instructor-led training that was going on with the management certification beforehand, and be able to take that and substitute, a lot of that face-to-face interaction, because you're not getting as much of that now. You're losing some of that face-to-face piece, and so the Allego piece of this solution really gives trainers a way to interact one-on-one, but in a virtual way. And so as you can see here, you've got a manager giving their response to a scenario. gets routed to their trainer, and then the trainer is able to leave comments on that specific point in the manager's response. So you get that feedback right then and there, and it's happening in the moment. So it allows that the manager to it allows the trainer to correct that behavior when it happens. And so as you can see here, you've got that comments timeline that was going by, and so it really kind of drives this interaction. Right. So now what we're able to do is routing these videos of some of the, like, say a manager turns in a great example. Now I can share that with other managers and show them, here, this is an example of, what great looks like. This is what, this is a great example of how, how we would like someone to handle this particular scenario that they're critiquing. And then as you can see here, there, you've got the ability to score the videos. And again, this all comes back to visually engaging. It's using video. You're able to substitute some of this face-to-face interaction with through video, able to drive some of that peer collaboration among the managers. And then, as far as from the kind of the science perspective of, the methodically sound, like we're speaking about, it's incorporating all these learning science principles. The fact that video is more engaging than text, and you're treating a behavior or critiquing a behavior right when it happens. So it's just really able to kind of like drive these outcomes that we're looking for. So it's really cool to be part of this solution and to just see it kind of come alive in this virtual environment. So yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I love Allego's element of personalizing a world that is, has been somewhat deep, and being on multiple devices, and so I love that component of this initiative. And again, it's never just a silver bullet that solves a unique problem. It's a combination of all the elements, and the sum of the parts is much greater than the whole in this case, and certainly shows in the results. So Jake, thank you very much for walking us through the video and explaining your product. I think it's just exceptional, and look forward to hearing you on the drum set at some point.
Yeah, definitely, Colin. Appreciate it. I will have to get my drum set down there. Where are you guys located? We're over in Boston.
Yeah, we're in Atlanta. So
okay, well, I'll have to rent a drum set.
Yeah, there you go. I've got a toy one you can borrow.
Okay.
So I'd like to I'd like to invite Lamont back on and kind of summarize what we talked about today with the three initiatives, and then open the floor up to ask any questions. And Lamont, if you would also, you don't just, this isn't training internally. You train for multiple clients. So I'd love to hear also how what type of clients you work with, and if they want to put together an initiative like this, how would they contact you for that, and maybe what you're looking for in a partner to work with.
Okay, so let's try to answer those in order. When we built this definitely for our own internal audience, and that's why we personalized it. When you're going through one of the videos, like the 1 minute mark, you saw our chief operating officer, and you're seeing our look and feel. That said, we've partnered with different companies in the financial services space, in automotive, in healthcare, technology, telecommunications. You kind of name the vertical, and we've had the opportunity to play there to create these types of learning solutions for them. So the cool part about us is we have a host of employees. We're able to take what we do, test it out internally, work out the kinks, make sure the magic happens, and then take those things and deploy them onto some of our other partners in other fields. So that's really one of the benefits of my job and what I get a chance to do, and working with a host of different, super intelligent, much smarter people than me. all I have to do is really say, hey, I want it to look something sort of like this, and they go ahead and figure out how to make it happen or bring it together the right technology to make it happen. So that answers yes, we do it internally, but we also do it for our other partners, and then just the three principles that we grounded ourselves in. For us, those are what important. When someone sees something, we wanted their first impression to be like, wow, that looks amazing. I don't even care what it is. I just want to go and try it. It's like you're walking through the mall and people say how retail's dead now. It's not necessarily that retail's dead. It's just that you're not going to walk into a store where you look in and you see the staff just looking bored. And we think about that when we design our technologies. We don't want to put a user guide in there. If you can't figure out how to navigate it and work it, then we did something wrong there. So that's a visually engaging. The practice and the methodologies, using science, using data, making sure that everything is functionally strong, it's applicable to the job, and then no matter what, going into this, we did enough research. We knew what we had to do. We knew what we had to solve to get those financials right, so that not only do you get the initial investment, but your partners continue to invest in you. And the amount of additional work that this has led to with our internal team, and then we have clients that it's been really cool. Clients are like, look, we love it. Help us get there and help us get there really quick. And now being able to work with folks like you and your team, and then Tim and his team over at Allego, that's the full circle, and that's why we enjoy it so much. So I know that we have about 15 minutes left, and we want folks to ask questions. Happy to answer or field any questions, whether they're in the chat or you're going to bring people off. So turn it back over to you at this point, Colin.
Thank you, Lamont. And so if you have any questions, please type them into the attendee chat, and we'll hopefully be able to answer those. But I think maybe we did such a good job of walking through this and explaining this initiative that nobody's got any questions. They just want it for themselves. But I want to bring up your visually engaging portion, the element of the three objectives, Lamont, and it's it's one of those things we take for granted, and sometimes we try to kid ourselves that appearances are not as important, but in everyday life, we do judge people and we judge things based on their appearance. And so long, training has been a dull component of a business initiative, and it's only because people think of it that way, and they don't think that it can be another way. So I want to applaud your vision towards that. I 100% agree with you. When someone sees something that's visually attractive, they want, and it also means that they want to come back. And our analytics at mLevel show that the return rate of people taking our learning activities, gamified activities, can be huge. I mean, we can have people retaking quizzes and assessments 25, 30 times, get to the top of the leaderboard, or to increase change their knowledge gap. And that means a lot to us. It means that it's interesting, it's engaging, and it's also impactful. So we don't have any questions. So again, that's awesome. I will send the recording out, the slides out, and some information about Allego, as well as information about TTEC. And if you'd like to respond, here's the contact information for our presenters. We're all on LinkedIn as well as Twitter, and you can contact any of the presenters, myself, colin.damute@mlevel.com, and the email will come from me. So you can respond to that directly, or lamont.exeter@ttec.com, or jmiller@allego.com. And if for some reason those get lost, take a screenshot now, but you can contact me from the email I send out, and I'll make sure you get in touch with the right party. But I want to thank the Allego team, Jake and Tim, for participating in our webinar. And Lamont, mostly I want to thank you and your team. I know it takes a team to make an initiative like this happen, and I've worked with them one-on-one, and I know how hard and diligently they worked on getting this done within a 60-day time frame. And I know that seems crazy with everything that went in for the vision and the execution as well.
Oh, so great.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for having us. So we appreciate it, and we'll roll.
Thank you, and thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, Lamont.
Thanks, Jake.